12 of those aren't doing well, you still have a great bottom line because you have 103 other railroads that are making money. You're able to spread your cost out, and you're able to take railroads that lose money and use them as a tax shelter. Hey, it's reducing, however you want to play that game. I don't want to get into all that, but
yeah.
And then you also have assets that you can share. You have more capital money. You're able to buy where a mom and pop might go spend $500,000 on a tamper. Well, they went and spend $500,000 on a tamper for their one railroad, where G&W can go buy a tamper for $500,000, and they have 8 railroads in Georgia. They can just truck it around to those 8 railroads. They're not having to go buy 8 tampers.
Yeah.
But the mom and pop who owns one railroad needs a tamper. They got to go buy it. But then that railroad carries that $500,000 cost. Well, yeah, that's great. You have the depreciation, but you still have to fund it, right? You still have to fund the purchase.
Yeah.
So, and you get the depreciation at the bottom line after 7 years, whatever, however many years you build your P&L for and depreciate. But so yeah, there's definitely economies of scale for sure, being a larger holding company and having more.
And the same with moving labor around too. So if that rail line is not doing well, you just move some of these people and say, hey, for the time being, you're going to be stationed out here or whatever, right?
You're exactly right. And that happens on a daily basis. You'll have a railroad that may be seasonal, or business is down, or they lost a major customer, but you have another railroad that's across the country that's just booming and needs help. You can offer those people jobs, or, they got to go somewhere else and find work, get furloughed. So,
yeah. So, again, this is going to be a super quick question, but so when we think about, that driver shortage is real, so it sounds like trucking is becoming less attractive in market for people because it's becoming more expensive. Is that right?
Correct, yeah, because they're having to up their per mileage rates and their owner-operated rates and all that, trying to attract people, so that's causing rates to go up. I mean,
and then
look at JB Hunt. They just had their best intermodal last year, their best intermodal season ever last year, and it was, made their record revenues.
But so it's not hurting them at all then if they're, because JB Hunt.
Well, so their intermodal uses rail. Yeah, their intermodal uses rail for the preponderance of the move. And then they're unloading it, they're loading it in L.A., dropping it in Cleveland, and the trucker's taking it 10 miles in Cleveland to the warehouse.
Okay, so that's actually, I see what you're saying. Okay. Now, there's another question, and this is kind of related to the trucking, but I think about the Amazonization of everything. Like, nobody used to think that they could get toilet paper to their house the next day online. Now they can. So do you think that holds true, that you're seeing that requirement for faster in short line, or because of the fact that it's bulk goods and it's, not consumer and all that stuff, that you see less of that impact?
From the materials that we deal with, there's not, you don't really have that impact.
Yeah.
What we see on a short line is the customer wants more visibility into their cars. The rail network it's very hard for somebody to see where their car's at. We don't have, believe it or not, where a semi has GPS on them, you can literally, go into your screen and pull up where your load is. Believe it or not, the rail sector does not have it. We have AEI scanners, but you have to go buy a scanner to see it. It's not GPS as it's moving across the country. So if you don't go past the scanner for 300 miles, you don't know where your load is in that 300 miles, so it goes by a scanner. It's ancient technology. The rail space just hasn't caught up with where it should be, and customers are demanding that, and there's a lot of people are coming out with platforms to start that. It's going to be a huge thing, is getting into the GPS on every rail car. You can actually track your load.
So, and why do you think every rail car is just on the engine? Because wouldn't that be the same thing?
It can be, but remember, when your rail car goes on a train, it may go on a train, we'll say, starts in L.A. and goes to Dallas. Well, then it gets to Dallas and it gets broken down in a yard. It could get lost in that yard and miss the next train because it gets switched out again to say, okay, this car is going to Memphis now, because that train from L.A. brought Memphis cars, Brownsville cars, Oklahoma City cars. They need to get broke up to go their directions now, right? So, if they say, and the beauty of doing that is now you can cut your customer service headcount down, because now the customer can just get online and go look at their load. They don't need to call the UP and say, hey, where's this load at? Now you're taking a labor force and reducing it. You're automating your process more, and you're making it customer driven.